How to get ripped without tracking your macros. It's pretty fucking easy. On the left, we have a picture of my physique when I was 15 years old and 5 months into my bodybuilding journey. And on the right here, we have a picture of my physique taken a few months ago when I started training more like a calisthenics athlete rather than a bodybuilder. And so for those of you that don't know me, I'm 19, so I've been at this for more than 4 years. And in those 4+ years that I have been training and building my body, I've only tracked my protein and my calories for a grand total of 3 months. So for the rest of those 4 years of training, I didn't track shit. And you don't need to either, because I'm going to show you how you can get ripped without tracking your macros or your calories. Because regardless of whether you're skinny or fat, you can absolutely get ripped without tracking your macros or your calories. And I'm going to show you how. But before, we've got to break this common belief that you can't get ripped because of your genetics. I can't get ripped because my genetics don't allow me, or I can't get ripped because my genetics are shit. That's fucking bullshit. Being fat or skinny doesn't come down to genetics. It comes down to your habits. Why does it seem like it's genetics? Let's take this example. Let's say your dad is overweight, or your mum, and you are overweight as well. And you all live in the same house together, and you think you're fat because you inherited the genes of your parents that are also fat. But really what's actually just happened is that you've just inherited their behaviors simply because you live with them. And you've lived with them for your whole life. Let's say if you're a fat 16-year-old and your parents are also fat, you're most likely fat because you took on their behaviors and eating habits as well for those 16 years of your life that you've lived under the same roof as them. So simply put, if your dad is eating all the time and buying junk food and storing it in the fridge, you are also most likely going to eat the same junk food that your dad does, and hence you will get fat just like him. You will get fat just like your dad. It's not genetics, guys. That's a bullshit excuse. Genetics is bullshit. Don't be a fucking pussy. Your genetics are not the reason why your physique looks like shit. The reason why you might look like shit is because of your fucking habits. You're eating junk food all the fucking time. You're not training, and that's why you look like shit. But if you're training and you're eating clean and you're doing all the right things, then your genetics really doesn't fucking matter over here. I could have been a fat motherfucker in this picture of me on the left where I'm 15, but my habits and environment didn't really allow me to become a fat fuck. Sure, the food was a little bit unhealthy to some extent, as you can see by the gynecomastia in the picture, by my nipples. They look a bit, starting to look a bit like man boobs. The food was unhealthy. I didn't have a great diet at 15. It was pretty shit. But I wasn't a fat fuck simply because my environment didn't allow it. Because there were 4 to 5 of us, like siblings, so 7 of us in the house, and the fridge was quite small, so there wasn't that much food in the house. So obviously I couldn't have gotten fat, and my siblings also couldn't have gotten fat, simply because our environments didn't allow it, and therefore our habits were not formed from the environment that we were in that we would get fat. So this is why I was skinny most of my life. And also bear in mind, I didn't do any sports or anything. I just ate what there was in the house and just sat around, coding most of the time or doing homework or stuff like that. I never did any sports. I didn't join any football or any rugby teams in school because we're in the UK and we do rugby here. I didn't do any of that shit. So obviously I looked like shit when I was 15. It's a habits thing. It's not fucking genetics. If you're just sitting around all day long and you're on the computer all the time, you're not doing sports, you're not eating like super clean, it's no surprise that you're going to look like shit. It's not your genetics. There are 5 parts to getting ripped while not tracking your macros. The first part, by the way, bear in mind, these parts are not in any specific order. They're just 5 things you need to consider when you want to get ripped while not tracking your macros. And the first part is the Pareto principle diet approach. The second is to prioritize your protein. The protein is the most important macronutrient, and we'll get to that in a second. The third is to drink plenty of water and fast throughout the day. The fourth is to exercise every day. Yeah, exercise every day. Don't be a fucking pussy. You don't need as many rest days as you think you do. And the fifth, which is the most important, is to be body conscious. Because at the end of the day, if you're not body conscious, if you're not caring about what your body looks like, then you're not going to get those results simply because there's a lack of intent behind the things that you are doing. So being body conscious, wanting to look good, is the whole backbone of this dieting approach. You have to want to look good if you want to actually progress. You have to want it bad enough. And if you want it bad enough, I have a complete framework for you so that you can get the ripped, aesthetic, head-turning physique that you've always dreamt of. The type that gets you feeling hyped up about yourself when you wake up in the morning and go and look in the mirror. The type that gets the ladies feeling your arms randomly mid-conversation. The type of physique that just makes you feel like the ultimate man. If you're ready to become that version of you, then go check out what I made for you. It's the top link in the description below. But without further ado, let's get back to the rest of the video. Before we dive into those 5 parts, we gotta explain what are macros. Macros are the 3 main nutrients your body needs in large amounts for energy and daily function of your body. And those are protein, which contains 4 calories per gram, carbs, which also contains 4 calories per gram, and fats, which contain 9 calories per gram. Protein is needed for muscle and organ growth and repair. Your carbs, you need those for energy. And fats, you need them to regulate your hormones. An important thing here, fats are demonized. Everyone demonizes fats nowadays. Because notice how the carbs and the protein each had 4 calories per gram, and the fats had 9 calories per gram. This is why fats get villainized. And so whether you put on body fat or not depends on your total calorie consumption and not about strictly how much fat you get. But since fats have 2.25 times the calories that protein and carbs do, this means that a diet high in fats, it will make you fat. But it's important to know that fats are absolutely essential for the body, unlike carbs, which you can get rid of. You'll just have a keto diet if you just get rid of the carbs. But your fats are absolutely essential because they are responsible for maintaining healthy hormone levels inside the body. Fats are demonized because they have lots of calories. And so the food industry will create these low-fat options for food which taste like shit, and you should actually avoid them because if you buy into the bullshit of buying these low-fat foods simply because they're low-fat, then your diet will taste like shit and you will hate your diet, and then you'll be going back to the fat fuck that you were in those previous years of life. Fats are good if they come from natural sources, such as eggs, butter, olive oil, avocados, nuts, or cheese, etc. Because these are unsaturated fats. The bad fats come from unnatural sources. So things like processed foods like crisps, fried foods, sweets, store-bought cakes and snacks, etc., and fatty cuts of meat. so things like bacon. And you also got processed meats, sausages and salami. The bad fats are trans fats and saturated fats. Those are the bad fats. The good fats are unsaturated fats, and they are usually at room temperature, they are usually in a liquid form. The bad fats are usually the ones that are solid at room temperature. That's what you need to know. The total number of calories you eat on average determines whether you're going to put on weight or not. As we just mentioned, it's not the fat that determines whether you put on the weight. Whether you put on body fat, it doesn't necessarily depend on how much fats you're eating. Fats, they sure do have lots of calories, but your overall calorie consumption is what really dictates whether you're going to get fat. But if your whole diet is just fat, then you are going to get fat as well, simply because fats have 9 calories per gram and those other two macronutrients are 4 calories per gram. The total number of calories you eat is what determines whether you're going to put on weight or not. And so let's say from Monday to Friday, you were to eat 2,000 calories for each of those days, and then you were to eat 3,500 calories on the weekends. Maybe you let yourself go on the weekend, or you decide that you want 2 cheat days in the week, which is quite a lot, actually. You decide you wanted to have 2 cheat days in the week, and you eat 3,500 calories on each of them, and for the rest of the week you just eat 2,000 calories. Your average is going to be 2,428 calories for the week. That's the average that you would get on a specific day if you were to calculate the average of those 7 days. And if for those 5 days you'd eat 2,000 calories, then that means your average calorie consumption would be 21.4% more than what you would eat most of the time in the week, which is actually a lot. So you're not really allowed to fuck around here with your diet. If you want to get ripped and not track your macros, or even if you want to get ripped in general, regardless of whether you're tracking your macros or not, you can't fuck around with your diet here. You gotta stay disciplined. But you can also use this to your advantage, because if you decide on 2 days of the week, let's say Monday and Tuesday, you were to eat way less than 2,000 calories, and then for the 3 days after you eat 2,000 calories, and then for the weekend you eat more than 2,000 calories, that can average out to 2,000 calories a day. So you can use this to your advantage. But the important thing here to note is that it's not about your daily calorie intake. It's about your weekly average. That's what really matters here. Your weekly average determines whether you're going to put on weight or if you're going to get cut or whatever the case might be. Your weekly average is the important thing here. Obviously, to get your weekly average, you would need to know your calorie consumption for the days of the week. But the important thing here is your calorie consumption, the average for the week. That's the important thing here. Because you could eat like an absolute athlete on the Monday, and on the Tuesday, you just fucking let yourself go. That's still not going to be good. You can't just be eating good 50% of the time. You have to be eating good at least 80% of the time. Because your body keeps a score over time. And as we just mentioned, it shouldn't be about your daily calorie intake, although it may help. It should be about your weekly calorie intake. As we just mentioned, you could be eating clean one day, hitting your calorie requirements, and then eat like a fat fuck the next day. It doesn't matter if you ate clean on the Monday. If you eat like shit on the Tuesday, your body is still going to look like shit. If you're not putting in the work, you're not going to get those results. You can't expect to half-ass things. You got to take this shit fucking seriously if you want to make gains. You need to get your fucking diet dialed in if you want a good physique, if you want to get ripped. Condiments. Most people, they underestimate the amount of calories that they get in a day. They don't know that condiments have quite a couple of calories on them as well. Ketchup, 80 calories for a 2-ounce serving, which is like little like small ramekin. 80 calories. Honey mustard, 120. Mayonnaise, 360. So like for a small ramekin of mayonnaise, that's 360 calories. That's a lot. If you're eating 2,000 calories a day, 360 is nearly a fifth of that calorie intake. Assuming you get 2,000 calories in a day and you have one ramekin of mayonnaise, that's a fifth of your calorie intake. That's 20%. That's a lot. So be wary about which condiments you eat. Is it still going to be below what your maintenance calories should be, or is it going to be below threshold where you're really starting to max out your calories? You don't want to eat too many condiments and not see any fucking progress, because condiments, they have lots of calories in them. But let's go into the actual like parts. The first part is the Pareto principle diet approach. The Pareto principle is just the 80-20 rule. In this case, it's eating 80% clean foods and the other 20% is whatever the fuck you want to eat. Going 100-0, so just eating clean, or like just having a super strict diet, is the fastest way to make you give up on your diet and cheat on it bad. So don't be scared to have a slice of cake every now and then. You know, people go too strict on their diets. When they want to get ripped, they're like, oh, I look like absolute shit. I really need to tackle the problem. And then they eat for like maybe a week or like a couple of days. They put themselves on this super strict diet and it's just fucking unsustainable. And they become fat. They just fucking stay fat. They don't get ripped. And so this is why you gotta have your occasional piece of cake every now and then. Enjoy some wholesome moments involving the slightly less nutritious foods. Enjoy some wholesome moments where you might eat a cake for your friend's birthday. But just don't overindulge in them and eat junk food on a regular basis. So what I mean by this is, you still want to live like a normal human. Sure, your diet is going to be a lot better than everybody else's diets, and therefore you will look a lot better than everyone else. But you still want to enjoy those moments where you can have that slice of cake, you can have that croissant if you want. If you're trying to get ripped and you're putting in the work, let's say it's your birthday and your girlfriend made you some cake. Don't be a fucking dickhead and reject the cake and be like, oh no, I need my clean diet dialed in. Don't be a fucking dickhead. You're going to eat that cake because you're going to show respect and gratitude for your girlfriends, because that's a wholesome moment. But what I mean by taking this 80-20 approach is, let's say you're by yourself. Don't be a fucking lazy piece of shit and order Domino's because you can't be bothered to cook. No, don't fucking do that. Don't be a lazy piece of shit. Walk your ass over to that kitchen and fucking cook something. That's when your diet should be clean. It should be clean when you're in the trenches, when you're living your day-to-day life. That's when you should be eating clean. Other than that, the wholesome moments is when you can maybe enjoy a burger here and there. Maybe you're with your friends. If you're in the trenches and living your day-to-day life, eat clean. You can eat a little bit when you're enjoying a wholesome moment with your friends or your girlfriend or your wife, etc. But just try and eliminate as many processed foods as you can because they are designed to be addictive. They are not designed to make you feel satiated. And it is very hard here, actually, to overeat natural foods because they will fill you up quickly. Examples are steak, potatoes, rice, fruit, veggies, all of those natural sources. I mean, it's quite difficult to overeat those because they make you full quite quickly. Unlike processed foods that have all these fucking chemicals inside so that you are addicted to them and so that you keep fueling the food industry with your money. Eliminate as many processed foods as possible, but still enjoy from time to time those moments when you're having some nice moments with your friends, with your girlfriends, or your loved ones. Still enjoy those times that you have with them. Don't be a fucking square in those moments and be like, oh no, I can't eat that because I gotta keep my diet clean. Motherfucker, we're doing this for a reason. If you eat clean, you should be in shape so that you can eat the junk food every now and then. You should be ripped so that you can enjoy the food, enjoy the junk food every now and then without worrying that you're going to put on belly fat. This is why your 80-20 approach is important. 20% you can enjoy whatever you want to eat as long as it doesn't fuck around with your hormones. But 80% should be as strict as possible because that's how you really get the results. And if you just make everything strict, you're obviously going to give up on your diet and you're not going to stick to the plan and you're not going to get ripped. Simple as that. I've never really needed to give a shit about macros because I always looked at the actual foods I was eating and the ingredients. And I'll be real, this is actually the easiest way to not worry about your macros and calories and still get ripped. So rather than looking at the calories and the macros and all that shit, just look at the actual food that you are eating. Most of the time, the processed foods that you might be eating are gonna have colored packaging. Just be real with your fucking self and be like, bruv, should I be eating this or not? And if the answer's no, then don't fucking eat it. Because you know exactly what's good for you and what's not good for you. And if you just follow your logical mind and stop listening to your fucking lizard brain, then you're gonna get the results. But so many people, they just eat the fucking junk food anyways because they can't say no to it. Just dial in the foods and not give a fuck about the macros and calories. That's the easiest way to not give a shit about your macros and still get ripped. And the last thing, not all calories are the same. One chocolate bar is like 600 calories, but 600 calories of chocolate bar is not the same as 600 calories of, let's say, steak or meat or something like that, or anything healthy. They're not the fucking same. The bar of chocolate has less nutrients than the 600 calories worth of the fruits or the natural foods that you're going to be eating. They're not the same. There will be all these fitness influencers, all these motherfuckers on trend, all these fucking teenagers on TikTok that are blasting trend and eating Dominoes every day. That's not healthy. Sure, they might be shredded because they strictly only care about calories in, calories out. But that's the fast track to cardiac arrest. That's the fast track to cardiovascular disease. And we are not just doing this to look good, we're doing this to also be healthy. Prioritize your protein. Protein is the most important macronutrient. It's the priority because it helps you recover and grow. It's also the most satiating macronutrient. So snacking on protein will reduce your overall calorie consumption compared to snacking on carbs or fats, which aren't very satiating. Eat similar foods each day and make sure you enjoy them. So be disciplined with your diet. And the only way to be disciplined truly is if you actually truly enjoy what you are eating. This is another reason why the 80-20 approach is super important. It teaches you to be disciplined, but also enjoy the process. Trouble hitting your protein? Find a high protein snack. Greek yogurt, milk, boiled eggs, beef jerky, or pepperoni or salami sticks. But with some of these snacks, you gotta be aware of the ingredients though. I know in this slide I said you got to look at the actual foods and the ingredients. Don't worry about the fucking macros and the calories. Don't worry about that shit. Worry about what the ingredients are in the food. Most likely, if that one food you're eating has more than 10 ingredients in it, you probably shouldn't be eating it. Otherwise, if you buy a food and it's only got like one ingredient, let's say you buy eggs and it's literally only got eggs, then that's fine. Otherwise, if the food you're eating has all these fucking ingredients, all these diphosphates, and all these fucking antioxidants, don't eat that shit because it's gonna fuck around with your hormones. I'm probably gonna make a video on BHT, which is something you should definitely avoid. But look at the actual foods and the ingredients. Or you could just meal prep it yourself. Make sure it tastes good cold because it's going to be in the fridge, obviously. If you meal prep something, you will know the fucking ingredients that you put inside of that food. And so you won't have to worry about looking at the ingredients because you know what the ingredients are because you cooked it yourself. Drinking water and fasting. This is good for maintenance or cutting weight. Drinking water in the morning is the best way to be filled up and kill cravings for foods. When I drink water in the morning, I feel full and I don't feel the need to have breakfast. I fucking skip breakfast. You should skip breakfast as well if you want to cut weight or if you want to maintain your weight because most people eat 3 meals in the day and with occasional snacks here and there. And so skipping your breakfast reduces the total number of meals to 2. Fasting shortens your eating window, meaning you can eat, let's say, 2 bigger meals and feel satiated rather than eating 3 medium-sized meals where you don't feel satiated and you still have hunger cravings. I don't even eat breakfast. Some days I don't even eat lunch. I might just have dinner. And that's how I stay lean year round because I don't actually eat that many calories in a day. But when I do eat that one meal, I fucking stuff my face full because I can do that because I didn't eat anything over those hours before. I didn't eat anything before I stuffed my face full for dinner. And this is the great thing about fasting. Since you're reducing the number of hours in the day, or you're reducing the overall time period in the day where you actually eat stuff, your eating window is shortened. You can stuff your face full for dinner, let's say, because let's say you skipped breakfast and lunch, and you could really stuff your face full at dinner, and you could be so full. If you do it like that all the time, you're going to get pretty ripped because you're just eating less calories overall. Because you are stuffing your face full for dinner, you won't really want to eat anything afterwards. And so when you eat 2 bigger meals, let's say, and you feel satiated, you're going to cut weight or stay at maintenance better than if you were to eat 3 medium-sized meals where you don't feel as satiated and you still have hunger cravings. You know, the person that eats the 3 medium-sized meals a day, the meals are medium-sized. They're not exactly like satiating. They might not feel full after dinner. And that's the bad thing because after dinner is when you get your late night cravings, and that's when you can also pack on the pounds. late night cravings and snacking is one of the main reasons why most people in the Western world are fat as fuck, because snacks nowadays are unhealthy. We all know that. Most snacks are literally chocolate, crisps. All of that shit has so many calories in it. But if you just eat proper meals and fucking stuff your face full with those meals, but they're proper meals, you won't want to eat any snacks after that. And so you're going to overall be at a lower calorie intake than if you were to eat 3 normal size meals and you still feel hungry, so you snack on a bar of chocolate or a bag of chips. And the fourth thing here, caffeine can extend your fasting window. This is a tip that many people, this is a trick that many people do. They drink coffee in the morning, black coffee. Me personally, I don't drink anything in the morning because I don't like to build a caffeine addiction. Most people that drink caffeine, they overdo it. And caffeine is a drug at the end of the day, and people do get hooked on it. People become very dependent on it so that they can get their work done. So many people, they'll have coffee in the morning and they fucking rely on that coffee. They need that shit to get their work done. So this is why I personally stay away from caffeine. If you can manage your caffeine intake, good on you. Then you can do this fourth one. But me personally, I like to stay away from drinking coffee in that. But as a helpful tip to get shredded or to get ripped, having a bit of caffeine, it can extend your fasting window, because if you have that caffeine, you're less likely to be hungry because you're active. Daily exercise, work out daily, only rest when necessary. I fucking hate rest days. And I fucking hate all these programs where you take multiple rest days a week. I think it's fucking bullshit. Me personally, I only take a rest day when I absolutely fucking need it. And you should too. Stop taking rest days when you don't actually need the fucking rest days. People will tell you, oh, you need to take your rest days. Like in the bodybuilding industry, let's say, people will say you need to take your rest days even if your muscles aren't sore. So if your muscles are still fine the day after, you still need to take the rest day. I think it's fucking bullshit. If you're not sore, if your body's not aching, don't take that rest day. Work out every fucking day. Because the more exercise you do, the better. Because an active lifestyle will always help you get ripped easier. So fucking move your body, man. Because movement burns your calories and it temporarily suppresses your appetite. Because let's say you're craving a cheeky Dom's or a Mackey's as a casual snack. Let's say you're sitting around and you just suddenly crave it. Let's say you make the wild decision to hit 100 to 200 push-ups. And if you're a fucking G like me, then you're going to hit more than 500 in that workout. But let's say you make that decision to work out instead of get the cheeky Doms or the Mackies. The blood will be redirected from your stomach to the muscles involved in the push-ups. And therefore your cravings for those unhealthy foods will disappear. The more calories you burn, the more leeway you have to slightly overindulge anyways. But if you burn only 300 calories, you can easily reverse that shit. You can easily reverse the 300 calories that you burn off. 300 calories. As we saw, a 2-ounce ramekin of fucking mayonnaise is 360. Let's say you burn 1,000 calories though. That's going to be harder to reverse if you're eating cleanly. If you're eating clean, it's going to be hard to reverse the 1,000 calories that you burnt off, because 1,000 calories, that's like a large meal actually. It's going to be harder to reverse if you're eating cleanly. So this is why you should always be burning calories. Fuck the rest days. Only take a rest day if your body's fucking aching. If you did chest day and your chest's not sore after you hit them PRs, Don't take a fucking rest day after your chest day. If you did chest day though, let's say, and your pecs are absolutely burning the next day, then sure, you can take the rest day. But honestly, rest days are fucking bullshit. Even if your muscles are sore, go out on a fucking walk, or maybe do some cardio, do some skipping rope, or some boxing bags, or have sex, whatever the case might be. Just don't be fucking lazy. Do some sort of movement on those rest days. Rest days are bullshit. I don't personally like them. I only take rest days if I really need them. Most importantly, you gotta be body conscious. You gotta care about your appearance and your weight. Most people weigh themselves weekly or monthly, and they will say that you've got an eating disorder if you weigh yourself every day. Fuck those people. Weigh yourself once you've taken a shit in the morning before you've eaten anything. And hypothesize whether your weight will increase or decrease after that daily weigh in. The hypothesis is quite important because it allows you to make changes to your body when you need to. But couple this with progress pics regularly, because weight doesn't always accurately represent the changes your body is undergoing. Your weight can be mistaken. If you're trying to lose weight and you do more exercise because you want to lose the weight, you will build a little bit of muscle, and muscle is denser than fat, so you might not lose the weight right away. And you need to be okay with that because muscle is actually heavier than fat. You can't expect to lose the weight right away if you're 250 pounds, let's say, and you're actively trying to get in shape. You're going to build the muscle. And so you're not going to lose weight as quickly as you might have initially hoped for. Be happy that you're building the muscle. That which is monitored is improved. That's just fucking true. The way you do one thing in life is the way you do everything else. You can only improve things in life if you know that they're not going so well. And you can only know that they are not going so well if you monitor them and if you get results, if you get feedback. If you're not weighing yourself and you're not taking progress pics regularly throughout your journey, then you won't know whether you're actually making progress or not. And therefore, any progress that you do make in the future, it's going to be fucking slow. So make sure you monitor shit. And that needs to include weighing yourself and taking progress pictures. Take them regularly. Ignore what any motherfucker says about taking progress pictures daily. You're going to get body image issues. Fuck those guys, and fuck the people that say weighing yourselves daily is going to, or like people that weigh themselves daily have like eating disorders. You're doing this for yourself. Who gives a fuck about what others think? Be body conscious, because at the end of the day, being body conscious and monitoring your body is the most important thing you need to get ripped. You have to do things with intent. You need to do it with intent. You need to be aware of the changes in your body so that you can actually make the improvements that you need to make. Extras here. We've already finished those 5 parts. If you want a snack, you're probably bored and you're not actually hungry. So hit some movements, as we just said. Maybe go on a walk or hit some chin-ups. If you're actually hungry, eat something with low calories. Protein is the most satiating macronutrient. So just eat some more protein. You could also eat some frozen fruit or some berries. Frozen fruit or berries, you have to eat them slowly, because if you just chomp on them super quickly, you're going to get brain freeze. Your teeth are going to have that freezing cold feeling. And this is why frozen fruit is a great way to satisfy your cravings for food. Not only are they low calorie, but since they're cold, you can't eat them too quickly, otherwise you'll get brain freeze. Another extra, if you want to eat out on vacation or with friends, prioritize your protein. Make sure you hit your protein first before eating anything else. Max out on that shit. Get the double burger instead of the single. and get a steak after that. And avoid any appetizers or sides or starters that are high in calories, like fries, toast, or anything with lots of carbs. I'm gonna spill the truth here. The reason why most people are fat is not because of the fats they consume, it's because their diets are too high in carbs. Carbs are an energy source, and at the end of the day, body fat is just stored energy on your body. It's not actually, it's not necessarily fats that make you fat. It's carbs that make you fat because carbs are an energy source. Fat on the body is just stored energy. So avoid those things that are high in calories. They're unnecessary calories, and you'll probably start feeling full by the time you eat the protein packed option. And we don't want that to happen. We don't want to feel full by the time we actually start eating our protein, because our protein is the most important macronutrient. And last but not least, just enjoy those wholesome moments. You don't need to go on full-on David Goggins mode. You don't need to take it too strict when you're out with the friends. You know, these are one of the wholesome moments. If you're out on vacation or with your friends, let's say you're with your friends and you're dining at a restaurant, don't be the lame guy that's like, oh no, I can't eat that because I've got to stay lean. You can have that slightly unhealthy option, but as soon as you have that, you get back on track when you're by yourself and when you're not in them wholesome moments. If you made it to this far of the video, big ups to you, because most people would have clicked off within the first 6 minutes. But congratulations to you if you made it this far, and if you think that this video was helpful to you, then you can go and check out some of my other content on my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.